Hello everybody, my name is Andy Stedham. I am the Senior Archive Specialist here at Rotary. I'm part of a team called Heritage Communications, which is charged with preserving Rotary's rich and important history. We maintain Rotary's archives. That includes documents, photographs, sound and video recordings, publications, and artifacts from over 100 years of Rotary's history. October is American Archives Month, and so to celebrate, we're here in the archive storage space to look at a few items that we've selected that demonstrate the kinds of things that we collect, how we preserve them, and how we use them to tell Rotary's story. Heritage Communications collects all kinds of things to make sure that Rotary's history is well documented. And then we use those materials to bring to life the people, the ideas, the decisions, and the events that helped build Rotary into one of the world's largest humanitarian service organizations. I'm going to show you a few items from the archives that are from Rotary's first polio project. Now, each of these items is important in and of itself, but together they help us to understand and also to experience that first important historic project. These items all pertain to a polio immunization that took place in the Philippines on September 29th, 1979. This event kicked off Rotary's first polio project, and the success of the event led to Rotary making polio eradication a priority for the organization, launching Polio Plus in 1985 and helping to found the Global Polio Eradication Initiative in 1988. This first item are minutes from the May-June 1979 meeting of the Board of Directors of Rotary International. Decision 347 at that meeting authorized this polio project. And so it's kind of the origin story of Rotary's involvement with polio eradication. Official records like these help to demonstrate how important decisions like these got made. Decisions that had huge repercussions for the organization. Next up is this, which is one of two copies that we have of the actual signed agreement signed by Rotary President Bomar and representative of the Philippine Ministry of Health, Enrique Garcia. This agreement committed Rotary to a multi-year project to immunize 6 million children in the Philippines at a cost of around $700,000 US. These are two 16mm film reels. This reel is the picture. The second reel is the sound, and the two reels are synced so that when they're played back in the proper equipment, you have both picture and sound. The footage is of Bomar and Capris and the Philippine Ministry of Health attending this event, immunizing some children, signing the agreement that we just looked at, and attending a informal press conference. Now, film like this is actually a very stable medium to preserve when it's kept in a controlled environment. And so we keep this storage space at a relatively consistent temperature and humidity. But we digitized the film and the audio so that we could put them together and hear the sound and see the picture. These are camera negatives of images that were taken at the same event. Now, like film, the negatives are a very stable medium, but I used gloves to handle them so that I could set them up on this light board and you could get a closer look. You can use this loop to magnify the image and get a really close look. We digitize these images as we did with the film, but in both cases we keep the original film and the original negatives so that we can always go back to the original source. And we preserve the negatives by keeping them in a sheet like this to protect them and also to make them easier to handle. few images that were taken in these negatives were published in an article of the December 1979 Rotarian magazine. This image here is very similar to the one that you just saw in the negative. We have every issue of the Rotarian magazine ever published, going back to 1911. And you can browse through old issues of the Rotarian, including the one with this article in it, on Google Books. We'll put a link in the comments. The last thing I want to show you is this audio cassette, which includes an oral history interview with President Bomar that was recorded many years after the polio immunization event in the Philippines. In the interview, President Bomar reminisces about his experience in the Philippines, the personal impact that it had on him, and of course the impact that it had had on Rotary. Like the other materials we've seen here, we digitized these sound recordings. Audio cassettes are a little less stable than either film or negatives, and of course they require playback equipment in order to be able to hear the audio. So we digitized all of our audio recordings so that we'll be able to hear Bomar's voice for a long time to come. Thanks for watching. For more information about any of the items that we've looked at here, or about Rotary's beginnings in polio eradication, we'll have a link to a web story in the comments. Tell us in the comments what other aspects of the archives you'd like to learn more about. Until next time, I'm Andy Stedham.